Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, unless of course you're new here, in which case, hi, hello. My name is Ashley and welcome to my random little corner of the internet. As you can tell from today's title, we are headed back to Aeldia, which means for my April TBR, we are doing the Magical Readathon, hosted by G over at Book Roast. If you have never heard of this before, I am going to be linking her videos kind of explaining the whole thing in my description. However, the gist of it is you make a character, you join a guild, you pick a mate, which is essentially a major, but you pick a calling, and you're going to a magical university. You're going to pick this calling, and each calling has a certain amount of books that you have to read with a certain amount of prompts, and those are the classes you go to, and as you read those books, you complete your year. So this is the 5th year that I am doing the Magical Readathon. This is the 4th year that Aeldia has existed. The first year was more Harry Potter related. We're moving on from that. G has created the most beautiful world from scratch. We love her for it. Every year gets more intense, and she's fantastic. So if you're not already following her, I highly recommend doing that. Watching those videos to kind of get a gist of what this is. However, my character, like I said, this is the 4th year that I'm doing this. However, the first year I majored in alchemy, and that is a very dense calling. I think I had to read like 9 books in a month. I haven't been doing that. It was fine that first year, but then I had a 3rd kid, and he's a lot. I love him very much, but he's a lot. So I kind of stepped back down to a less course intensive calling, and I've been a moon warden for the past 3 years. So this will be my 3rd year as a moon warden, and then I'll have 1 more year before I, graduate. And yeah, but if you look at my thumbnail, that means we also have a special guest.
Hey.
So Natalee's going to be joining me this year on our trip to Aeldia. This will be her first year. So let's talk a little bit about her. What guild did you decide to join?
Mindwalker.
So we went through the guilds, and she decided that Mindwalker was the one that kind of spoke to her. We did take the quiz. She took the quiz, and that's the one that she melded with. And then we almost went with Dreamwalkers, which is the calling specific to the Mindwalkers. But again, it was very course dense, and so she went with something a little lighter, which is Storyweaver. Because if you've ever known a preteen, that's all they ever do. It's just weave stories. So that's what she decided to go with. She has to read 4 books this equinox, and then she'll have to read, I believe, 6 in the fall. So as far as characters go, my character's name is Kalita Sparkstone, and I am a fire elemental.
Mine is Amelia Lane, and I'm a water
elemental.
Water
Alrighty,
elemental.
so starting off, we are going to start with my TBR for this month. And once again, we are Moon Warden, and so here is our calling sheet, essentially. And as you can see from the bottom, for the Spring Equinox, I have to read 5 books. Elemental Studies, Astronomy, Art of Illusion, Restoration, and Spells and Incantations. Those are the classes I have to take this semester. Each class will have a core subject, and that core subject will have a prompt that will lead us to a book. So, for our first one is Elemental Studies. This one was the hardest one for me to find because the course focus for this one is Earth, Fruit. The prompt being a book with fruit on the cover. Immediately comes to mind would be like Twilight, with the apple in the middle, or Winter from the Lunar Chronicles with an apple in the middle. I also have Priory of the Orange Tree, which has orange in the title as a fruit, not a color. But that is the only one that I would have that would fit this prompt that I physically own, and I decided that might be a little much given the other 4 books I'm going to read. So instead I found The House Witch by Delamock. I think that's how you pronounce it, maybe, I'm not sure. But as you can see, there's a little fruit in the basket in the corner. So yay, that fits. I've kind of heard mixed reviews about this one. Some say it's fun, some say it's cozy, some say it's a little flat. Guess we're going to find out. So, my next class is Astronomy. For Astronomy, our course focus is Lightfall. For Lightfall, we have to use a color wheel. I might have cheated a little bit on this one, but I'm going to let past Ashley roll that wheel and show you what book she picked. Okay, as other me would have said, I'm going to go ahead and pick my random color. I have pulled up a color wheel, maybe. Why is that? You can't see anything on that. There we go. So I've pulled up a random color wheel. I'm really hoping to land like here-ish. We will see. Oh! I mean, technically. Hold on. That's blue. There's blue. That's blue. Yay! I was going to try to possibly squeeze this in at the end of March because it is only the 24th, but this has 642 pages. So I'm not gonna squeeze that in 6 days. 7 days? 7 days. 31 days in March. Anyways, so yeah, that worked out very, very nicely. And I think I'll squeeze in another book in March or whatever. But yeah, so that was my random color generator wheel whatever pick. Okay, so like past Ashley showed you, we're going to be reading Oathbound. Again, I cheated a little bit. It landed on light blue, and there's plenty of light blue up here. Is it the main focus? No, but did I really, really want to read this and fit this in somewhere anywhere? Absolutely. Would have been better if I landed on purple? Probably. But it still fits. We've got all of this light blue, the reflection in her hair. We're good to go. So light blue, color wheel, Lightfall. We are reading Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. This is the third in the Legendborn series, and I've been obsessed, and I cannot wait. So here we go. And then we have Art of Illusion, which the course focus is distance manipulation. This is probably my favorite prompt, because if you've seen any of my other TBRs, I do a sister story swap with my sister, where we pick a prompt, and I give her a book that I've already read and loved, and she gives me a book that she's already read and loved that fits that prompt, and we go with it. The prompt for this, for Aeldia, for distance manipulation, is a book you already planned to read this month. Well, that's frickin' easy. Which means I will read whatever book that my sister gives me. For this month, for our prompt for the Sister Story Swap, is just a fairy tale retelling. I don't know what it is yet. I think she's going to give it to me this evening at the time of filming this. So what we're going to do real quick is that future Ashley is going to tell you exactly what book it is. Hey there, future Ashley here. The book that I got from my sister for Sister Story Swap that will go for the book that I already had planned, which I think is Art of Illusion, Distance Manipulation, the book you already had planned for the month. It's going to be The Princess Search by Melanie Sellier. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. And it's an Ugly Duckling retelling. It is book 5 in a series, but apparently that doesn't matter. Like, they can all be read standalone because they all are different characters. So yeah, we'll see. So there we go. Wow, future Ashley, that looked like a great book. I hope it is. Alright, so then class number 4 is Restoration, and our class focus is Uncommon Antidotes. And for that, you have to read a book that has a 4+ average star rating. I just finished reading Scythe last month, and I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. What I did, I went on my Goodreads and I adjusted the list of books that I own to be like the highest rated, or highest rated or whatever. Didn't feel like reading like Lord of the Rings again or anything like that. However, because I read Scythe, Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman has an average of like 4.35 or something like that. And I'm obsessed, and I can't wait to keep diving into this world because it's just so much fun. Fun is a weird word to call this series because it isn't. It's a little dark, it's a little twisted, it's a little what would happen if we let the AI take over and the AI did a better job than the humans are doing. But then population control. I don't know. I'm excited to get into this one. So yes, a average rating of over 4+ stars. Here we go. And for our final class for me, for Moon Warden, it is Spells and Incantations. The class focus is spell, copy and paste. And basically what you need to do is take the last book that you read, or one of the last books that you read, pick a word from that title, and then find a book that also has that same word in the title. So when I made my TBR, the last book that I had read was Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrane. Really the only book that would fit for this, because everything else I've read was single word, and I'm not going to find another book that has the word scythe in it, or another book that has the word lightlark in it. So instead, I did Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrane, and I went through my, spreadsheet that I have of my library and did the whole, search and find for Here We and Go and Again. I have one book that fits that, and that is Go the Distance by Jen Kalanita. This is a twisted tale about Hercules and Meg, and I believe it says, what if Meg had to become a Greek god? So yay. I did get a bunch of these for Christmas from my mom. I'm obsessed. I've already read the Beauty and the Beast one, and the Aladdin one, and the Sleeping Beauty one, I believe. I've read those 3. That seems right. So now I am super excited to get this one. My sister's already read it, and she said she really enjoyed this one. This was her favorite one. So for me, here is my TBR. We've got Go the Distance for spells and incantations, a word with a same word as the last book I read. We've got Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. That is a book that is rated over 4 stars. We've got Oathbound by Tracy Dion, which matched the color wheel prompt. We will have whatever book it was that my sister gives me as a book that I was already planning on reading this month. And then we have The House Witch, which has fruit on the cover. Easy peasy, right? So now, before we leave, we have an extra. Because now, Natalee's going to talk about what her TBR is. I'm going to sit here and help because, yeah. So, as a story weaver, she has 4 classes. We've discussed this, okay? So she has 4 classes. Her first class is Inscription. For that class, this is one we're going to do right here on camera. So, for that class, the class focus is the hook. And the prompt is, you read the first sentence of 3 different books, and out of those 3, you decide which one you actually want to read. So what are the options?
We've got The Unicorn Hunter by
Che Golden.
We got Willa of the Wood by
Robert Beatty.
Yeah, I almost said what was the title?
And then this one is Fairy Haven and the Quest of the Wand by Gail Carson Levine, which is the same person who wrote Ella Enchanted. So she's just going to read the first sentence real quick, and then she's going to decide which one she wants to.
Out loud? Or?
Yes, out loud.
Okay. First, the Fairy Haven.
Oh wait, not this.
The mermaids dived when
Ronnie
approached, flying in on Brother Doe's back.
The dove.
Brother Dove's back.
That's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a boring first sentence. It's not really a hook, but all right. All right. For Willa and the Wood by Robert Beatty, we've got. Yeah, you do have to read a little louder.
Willa crept in through the darkened forest, following the scent of chimney smoke on the midnight air.
Okay. And then for the third book again is the Unicorn Hunter by Che Golden.
As soon as the dart hit the mare's shoulder, the world solidified around the stallion.
Solidified. Okay, so which one do you think sounds best? Okay, so we are going to go with The Unicorn Hunter by Che Golden. You want to read that sentence again?
Okay.
And say that word correctly?
Okay. As soon as the dart hit the mare's shoulder, the world solidified around the stallion.
Okay, so for Inscription, a book where or 3 books where you read the first sentence and choose. She's going to go with, if I can open my tablet, she's going to go with The Unicorn Hunter by Che Golden. Alrighty, for your next class is Art of Illusion, which is a book that a prompt I also had, which is a book you were already planning on reading. Was she planning on reading this? I don't know. I bought her these books.
Yes, I was.
Okay. I bought her these books because I found all of them at Goodwill in immaculate condition. Thank you. Because it's not what I was about to say. So, she's going to be reading Twilight. You got to get him closer. She'll be reading Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. Again, see, that works for fruit on the cover because you've got a giant apple in the middle. So there we go. Book she was already planning on reading, Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. She's gonna have a phase, y'all. Alrighty. For Psionics and Divination, or that's her next class, is Psionics and Divination, is Psychokinesis, a book about witches or the occult. So she doesn't know much about this one. I read it and I loved it. It's Curse of the Spectre Queen by Jenny Elder Moak, and I really enjoyed it. And so I think she will too. It is about resurrecting the Spectre Queen by occult means. They do an occult ritual to raise the Spectre Queen. She's a Celtic goddess of vengeance and death, and bring about a war unlike any the world has ever seen.
Yep.
So there we go. This is her book about witches or the occult. Also, the cover just looks really awesome. So there you go. And then for her final class is Lore, the prompt being the Song of Ages, or the class being the Song of Ages, and the prompt being musical term in the title, which is song, note, etc. G has already stated that it could be a very loose musical term. She's using dancing as hers, like on her and her thing, because you dance to music most of the time. We did verify this already with the Discord. She's going to be reading
The Sweetest Sound by Sherry Winston.
Sherry Winston.
Sherry Winston. I can't.
And the thing is, it's like, it's called The Sweetest Sound, but you can see that like the D here has the little tail to be a quarter note, and then down here is just a whole music staff. So, I mean, it's got the iconography, and it's about a girl wanting to be a singer. So, it fits with the sound. So. Okay. Here, pull this like this. And you lean forward. Okay. So, what do you have? You have for Lore, a book with music word in the title.
The Sweetest Sound by Sherry Winston.
And then for read the first sentence of 3 books and pick one, you have
Unicorn Hunter by Che Golden.
For a book featuring witches or the occult,
Curse of the Spectrum Queen by
Jenny Elder Moak. And then a book you were already planning on reading this month,
Twilight by Stephanie
Meyer. Alrighty. So, that is going to wrap us up. Hopefully we do well this. Are you confident on finishing your books this month? You only have 4.
I'm not so confident on Twilight, but on the other ones, yeah.
She's worried that it's too thick.
It's
because she'd
like
rather read more books than one big book, which
like
is fine. It's whatever.
400-something pages.
Girl, at your age, I was doing that in my sleep.
Okay.
So yes, that is going to be the end of our TBR. As always, like, what are you going to be reading this month? Are you participating in any readathons? Are you doing magical readathon? If you are doing magical readathon, what is your calling? Because I always like to see what I have in common with other watchers, or what guild are you in? Are we in the same guild? Are you in the same guild as Natalie? But yeah, that's going to be it. So if you like this video, hit the big thumbs up button, as well as the big red subscribe button and the notification bell, so that you're always notified every time that I upload. And until next time, bye!